Hello. First talk in a while, but there we are. I'm busy with other things. But this is a question which often comes up from students who are fairly new to university. And the question is, what do I reference? What should I include citations and referencing for? What information? So we'll look at that today. It should take about 6-7 minutes or so. And our topic is cheese and denim. So if we look at it, this climb here from facts which are well known on the left to very obvious opinions on the right. So whatever you say or whatever you write is either somewhere between a very well-known fact or a very obvious opinion, and that's what we call a cline. So here are some sentences, A to G. I'd like you to just think about where on that cline each sentence goes. So as it says there, at least one of those sentences is a well-known fact and at least one is an obvious opinion. So try to place the others along the scale. Let's go through them. So cheese is the tastiest food. Clearly, or I hope it's clear, that is an obvious opinion. So that will go on the right-hand side. B, cheese comes from the milk of cows and goats. That's a fact. You know, we don't get regular cheese from other animals. We don't grow it. But maybe it's not a very well-known fact. So if you're not from a country that eats a lot of cheese, you may never have considered where cheese comes from. So I would place that probably in the second box, the dark grey box, because although it's a fact, it's not very well known. C, per gram cheese contains a high fat content. It's true, yeah, although we might argue about what is a high fat content. So it's a fact, but there's some debate around how true it is. So I would put C into probably the third box, in that it's a fact, but there's some debate about how true it is because of that debate around what constitutes high fat or low fat. D, cheese is not a good choice for those trying to lose weight. I think that's erring more towards an opinion, because, you know, some people would argue that any food in moderation is okay for you. But if we think that cheese per gram does contain quite a high fat content, then probably D is true. So I'd probably go in one of the lighter grey boxes there. E, cheese comes in a variety of tastes and textures. Again, a little bit like D. For me, I eat a lot of cheese, very tasty. So it does have, you know, some very strong tastes, some very mellow, mild tastes. It can be soft, it can be hard. So for me, it does have a variety of tastes and textures. If you don't like cheese, then probably all cheese tastes the same and has a similar texture. So again, I think it's true, but it depends on your own preferences how true that sentence is. So I would probably put that somewhere in the middle of the scale. F, cheese can be a useful source of calcium. So calcium is that element that's good for your teeth, good for your bones. And Again, I think that's true. It's difficult to say it's not true, so it's more of a fact than an opinion. But we could debate whether it's well known or not well known. So I'd probably put that in the third box, maybe leaning towards the second box. So the dark grey to middle grey. And the last one, G, vegan cheese tastes the same as normal cheese. Well, that depends on who's tasting it. If you don't like cheese, you probably think they all taste horrible. If you don't generally like vegan food, you probably argue that normal cheese tastes better. So that's very much an opinion, unless we can prove otherwise through some kind of research. So as you can see, I hope from those sentences, we've got some things which are very factual to some things which are very obviously opinions. There's a picture of some cheese. And I think I would put those sentences around those places on the Klein. So B, C, E, F, D, G, A. Let's just remind ourselves what they are. B, C, E, F. B, C, E, F. So those are more factual. And then D, G, A, slightly more opinions. D, G, and A as the most opinion. So now that we've figured that out, let's think about what do we write a citation and reference for. So what do we reference? In general, there are sort of three rules here. First one, you do not write a citation or reference for things which are well-known facts, like the sun rises in the east. Primark is a popular clothing retailer. Aldi is a cheap German supermarket chain. Levi's are a well-known brand of jeans. You do not write a citation or reference for your own opinions, like Red Leicester is the tastiest cheese, iPhones are better than Samsung, it's too cold in England, Levi jeans are overpriced, too expensive. So if it's your opinion that you're giving, you do not give a reference. Contrary to what you may think, when you write an essay or a report, give a presentation in your undergraduate, postgraduate degree, we do want to see your opinions. They are important. It's just how you support those opinions that gives you the marks. If you give your opinions without giving any reason, then your opinion is worth nothing. If you give your opinion about iPhones, for example, being better than Samsung phones, if you give a series of reasons for that opinion that are verifiable facts, then your opinion becomes valid and you get marks for that. And the third thing you do not write a citation or reference for is your own research. So if you're carrying out primary research, you don't cite or reference yourself. So on the flip side then, you do need to write a citation and reference for the following facts that the fact is not well known. So for example, Primark's own brand jeans are indeed the most popular in the UK. Now, you might have thought it would be Levi's being the big brand, but actually Primark sells more of its own brand jeans than anyone else in the UK. In contrast, Levi's is the best-selling brand of jeans in the UK. So, you know, the brand of jeans, Levi's, Wrangler, Lee, etc. Levi's is the best-selling brand, and you can check those statistics with the Statista website. Now, when we go more into the middle of the decline there with per gram cheese contains a high fat content, although we've said it's a verifiable fact, it's not enough just to leave your information at that per gram cheese contains a high fat content. You need to back up that claim with some statistics. So here we've got the statistics. So we've got some numerical evidence there. So cheddar cheese contains 35 grams of fat per 100 grams of cheese. So it's 35% fat. That's quite a high fat content. And we reference where that statistic comes from. So that comes from the British Heart Foundation website. A similar sentence that fell in the middle of that line, cheese is not a good choice for those trying to lose weight. So instead of putting the citation in here, which I will do, so it doesn't go into that part because, you know, we've got that debate about whether having a little bit of cheese is good for you because it's got calcium in it. So we don't put it there, we put it after the actual statistics, which is 35 grams of fat per 100 grams of cheese. So the citation, the British Heart Foundation, relates to this information here. And then whoever's reading your report or your essay can see that your opinion that cheese is not a good choice for those about wanting to lose weight, your opinion is formed because of the fact. Okay, so that becomes a valid opinion. We then go on to have a little more information. Cottage cheese is lower in fat and high in protein. Again, that is referenced to the BBC Good Food website. Some cracking recipes on there. I would recommend that. And here comes my opinion. So maybe more suitable for those who crave cheese but wish to control their fat intake. So from the evidence, you can see there that the writer has given the opinion which is based upon the evidence, and that's perfectly fine. And the last idea, cheese can be a useful source of calcium. We know it's true, but we need a little bit more information for that to be a usefully cited bit of evidence. So here comes the evidence. Cheddar, for example, is rich in protein and calcium and a good source of vitamin K2. And again, that comes from the BBC Good Food website. So the yellow highlight there is very important. You'll notice here that for the debatable facts, those in the grey areas of the scale, the cited evidence has been added to the original point that was made in those original sentences. If you reference just the original sentences, it would be rather strange because there's no evidence of the details. So you must include the evidence for those claims, those factual claims that are not well known. Include the details. Okay. Even with less well-known facts, for example, about the jeans, that Levi's are the biggest brand, but Primark's own jeans are the most popular, it would be worth adding the statistics so that the reader can see the evidence. I think there's an example of that. Yeah, okay, let's look at this one first. So Levi jeans are overpriced. That's your opinion. So you'd get no credit for that if you just wrote that. If, however, you add on that information that I've just highlighted, so Levi jeans are typically about £100 per pair, Giacomo or fat face jeans are less than £50 in Sainsbury's. So, you know, half the price. Then your opinion that Levi jeans are overpriced becomes credible. It's a credible opinion, and you would get credit for that. What did I leave? Yes. So less obvious opinions. So that one there. Vegan cheese tastes the same as normal cheese. So that's an opinion. Maybe we can try to prove it, but you know, some people may disagree. It is a matter of taste, which is personal. So either, if you want to say that sentence, either you make it clear that it is your opinion, or you find some evidence that either the majority of people agree with you, or that cheese experts broadly agree with you. When I searched online, I found both opinions, and I've quoted these. So the BBC Good Food website taste tested different cheeses and suggest that Cathedral City dairy-free cheese has a spot-on cheddar-like texture and slightly nutty but not overwhelming flavour. So that suggests to me that the vegan cheese from Cathedral City does taste the same as a normal cheese. Here's a different one. The Rainbow Plant Life Company says that vegan cheese being made with different ingredients typically does not taste like traditional dairy cheese. So you've got these two opinions, and if I were writing about cheese in an essay or a report, as the writer, I may decide to change my opinion from vegan cheese tastes the same as normal cheese. I may change that to vegan cheese can taste similar to normal cheese. So my opinion is less strong. Okay. And again, here we're quoting here. So we've got the quotation marks, and we've still got that citation from 2023 to the Rainbow Plant Life Company. Levi jeans we've already looked at. Okay, so that's about what you do and do not reference and cite within your writing. I hope that's useful. Thank you.